All right, so guys, real quick, I just want to throw sort of a demo video up, just showing you some of the basic ways to start this. I know a lot of people, I apologize for this being digital, but it happens to be the way that works best. But I know a lot of people when they're first starting off, they start with this giant white sheet of paper, and they come in and they say, "All right, let's get a pencil and we're going to draw our eggs. We're going to get those guys in there, and that all sounds fine. Your eggs are laying on top of each other, and you're working on getting them in there, and maybe whatever drapery you're sitting at, and then you're like, oh man, what do I do next? You want to start shading, so then you get your charcoal and you start adding some charcoal to it, and you'll notice what happens here is we start with white, and the only direction we can go is what direction? Darker, right? So it's really restrictive, and it's very limiting with what you can do. If you want to go lighter on an area, you can't do that because the paper's white. So what I would say at this point, instead of going in and drawing these value areas, I would say take your charcoal, drop it on its side, and this is obviously going to take a little bit of time to process. There, it's nice and slow there, isn't it? Come in, gray out your entire image. Just use the side of your charcoal stick. That works. That's fine. It doesn't matter. What that does, though, is it gives you gray to work with. So now you can do the same thing, but then your eraser, which is a tool that I think most of us, we still have that elementary school approach to erasers, where we're like, all right, I have a mistake, so I want to erase it. But erasers are actually white drawing tools, so they don't work. They're completely useless on a white sheet of paper. But you can come in when you're working on, when you're working on a gray ground, and you can come in and actually start by drawing the highlights. And you can draw the light first, which is completely impossible when you start on a white piece of paper. So you can be getting your white areas laid in, and then from there you can then start adding your gray. And I think it's really a good way of building up drawings like this. It gives you that opportunity to blend things together. It gives you that opportunity to start somewhere that isn't limiting. It gives you more range. It gives you more options, and then you can come in and start working your charcoal like this. And however you, obviously it's not, I'm just sort of making this up as I'm going, but the idea is there, where you're working positive and negative. You're working light and dark into it. You're working black and white depending on how you look at it. And then again, you can come back in and say, all right, overdid that. I can blend it there. I can blend it there. And man, I forgot how clean digital is compared to charcoal. Charcoal is such a mess, but that's good. You get rid of your lines there, your contour lines that we all love and sort of adore get wiped out, and you can start in with your grays and figure out where everything is at. These eggs might, I bet the eggs right there would probably look like they almost blend together, but use your erasers to smooth out that charcoal a little bit. All right, and that's coming along really well. And then I don't know, when you're all done, maybe look at the background, figure out what's going on back there. So anyway, that's where I think where I think you want to be at this point is looking at how you're actually drawing and building up the images, and how much of it's sort of your default setting, how much of what you're doing is sort of just the comfortable way you've always done it. Right now, are you holding your charcoal like a pencil, elementary school pencil, where you could write your name very easily with it? Or is the charcoal on its side and you're making big, bold marks? Are you erasing to correct mistakes, or are you erasing to make marks? Are you erasing light? Are you actually drawing light back into your drawing? Right. And I think if you can start approaching it like that, where you're looking at how it's sort of being painted, because charcoal is much more like paint than it is like a traditional pencil. You can start to figure out how to make your drawing, I think, a little better that way. So anyway, I would recommend for any of the drawings that we're doing that are value heavy like this, I really think you want to start off with a gray ground of charcoal and then erase into it, add more charcoal to it, go back and forth again and again. So, all right.